Question. Describe how the Supreme Court widened this right to include the right to a clean environment, privacy, and legal aid through various landmark judgments. Hello friends. Today we will discuss one of the most remarkable developments in Indian constitutional jurisprudence, the expansive interpretation of Article 21, the right to life and personal liberty by the Supreme Court of India. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution originally provided a simple negative protection. No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. In the early decades after independence, this article was interpreted narrowly, mainly as a safeguard against arbitrary executive action. However, from the late 1970s onwards, the Supreme Court adopted a dynamic, activist and purposive approach. Through judicial creativity and transformative constitutionalism, the court transformed Article 21 from a mere shield against state arbitrariness into a source of numerous positive socio-economic rights. This expansion is widely regarded as one of the finest examples of judicial activism anywhere in the world. The court has read into Article 21 the right to live with human dignity, and under this umbrella, it has expressly included the right to a clean environment, the right to privacy, and the right to legal aid. The turning point came in the landmark case of Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India in 1978. The Supreme Court held that the procedure established by law must be fair, just, and reasonable. This due process interpretation opened the door for reading several unenumerated rights into Article 21. The court began to treat the right to life not merely as the right to exist, but as the right to live with dignity, decency, and meaningful existence. This judicial philosophy led to three major expansions: the right to a clean environment, the right to privacy, and the right to legal aid. First, the Supreme Court included the right to a clean environment under Article 21. In the case of rural litigation and entitlement Kendra versus State of Uttar Pradesh in 1985, the court ordered the closure of limestone quarries in the Doon Valley that were causing severe ecological damage. Later, in the series of MC Mehta versus Union of India cases, the court introduced the principle of absolute liability for hazardous industries and applied the polluter pays principle. In Vellore Citizens Welfare Forum versus Union of India in 1996, the court explicitly declared that the right to a clean environment is a fundamental right under Article 21 and incorporated the precautionary principle and sustainable development into Indian law. Second, the court recognized the right to privacy as an integral part of Article 21. In the historic 9-judge bench decision of Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India in 2017, the Supreme Court unanimously declared that the right to privacy is a fundamental right. It is intrinsic to the right to life and personal liberty. This judgment has far-reaching implications in the digital age, protecting citizens from unwarranted state surveillance and data collection. Third, the Supreme Court expanded Article 21 to include the right to legal aid. In the case of Husainara Khatun versus State of Bihar in 1979, the court held that providing free legal services to poor under-trial prisoners is essential for a fair trial and therefore forms part of the right to life. This right was further strengthened in Khatri versus State of Bihar, where the court made it the constitutional obligation of the state to provide legal aid to indigent accused persons so that they are not denied justice due to poverty. The main articles connected with this expansion are Article 21, which guarantees the right to life and personal liberty; Article 32, which gives the right to approach the Supreme Court for enforcement of fundamental rights; and Article 39A, which directs the state to provide free legal aid. Friends, the Supreme Court's progressive and activist interpretation of Article 21 has been truly revolutionary. What began as a simple safeguard against arbitrary deprivation of life has evolved into a comprehensive charter of human rights. By incorporating the right to a clean environment, the right to privacy, and the right to legal aid, the court has ensured that the right to life is not merely the right to exist, but the right to live with dignity, freedom, and justice. This judicial creativity has made the Indian Constitution a living document that responds to the changing needs of society. It has strengthened the cause of social justice, environmental protection and human rights and has given hope to millions of marginalized citizens. The expansion of Article 21 stands as a shining example of how an independent judiciary can transform constitutional promises into reality and uphold the true spirit of the Constitution. In short, through a series of landmark judgments on the right to a clean environment, the right to privacy, and the right to legal aid, the Supreme Court has greatly widened the meaning of the right to life under Article 21, turning it into a powerful tool for social justice and human rights. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.